Hello, and welcome back to Versus Live, brought to you by Star City Games and Carnox. Make sure you check out these chairs at carnox.com/SCG.
Hell yeah.
They are a new sponsor, and they are great.
You just love leaning back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm more of a fan of the lumbar support personally because it leans super far up, and then if you lean back, it's just like perfect,
Yeah,
right?
you're in like a perfectly ergonomical position.
Yeah. Anywho, we have one match in the books already today. We got two more on the docket for you. I guess I'll start. I'm playing an Izzet Wizards deck. Say it 5 times fast. Is it Wizards? Is it Wizards? Is it Wizards?
Todd saw my sweet Conjuring deck and was like, I got it, Izzet too.
Yeah.
I got a little jealous.
No, we actually just got a lot of inspiration from the top 32 decks this past weekend in the Modern Challenge on Magic Online. The version I'm playing was based on the 17th place list, whose name escapes me, but I saw 4 copy of Archmage's Charm, and I think that it's an incredibly underrated card. People are like, oh, it's a bad cancel or a bad divination, or you still like a Weldon Coddle. Like, yeah, and Cryptic Command's also a bad counterspell and a bad card draw spell and a bad bounce spell, but when you have an option, it's really good. On turn 3, if I have Archmage's Charm, it literally is the best card at all spots. If they do nothing, it draws 2. If they do something, it either counters it or steals it. That's pretty damn good, if you ask me. On top of that, we're also playing, I believe it's called Magmatic Sinkhole. It's the Delve 5 damage removal spell that can hit a creature or a planeswalker. It's a nice addition to these Izzet decks that don't really have a great way to kill planeswalkers or large creatures like Tasker or Gurmag Angler or even Tarmogoyf.
We've seen decks like this play Dismember a lot, and Dismember, while a solid card, gets really awkward when you try to snapcast it. You cast it twice and pay the 8 life. So this is a card that you can, reasonably snapcast. Maybe you got to pay some extra mana for it, but it doesn't work on turn 1 or sometimes like turn 2 to get that Devoted Druid. But you're pretty well situated in those spots with 4 copies of Lightning Bolt. So I like the trade-off. I think that card's going to see, significant play as a 1 or 2 of in these styles of decks. Yeah, the rest of the deck, we got, Snapcaster Mages, Bolts, Vendilion Clicks. We're playing a lot of instant speed. We have Delver Secrets early on to kind of apply some pressure. You're going to see this kind of be a tempo aggro deck in game 1 in a lot of matchups, but after sideboard, if our opponent has removal, if our opponent is playing a slower deck, we can actually just sideboard into a control deck, and that's one of the reasons why I think this deck's really cool. It's super flexible. It reminds me a lot of like a legacy Delver deck that maybe sides in stuff like Jace the Mind Sculptor, and this is, again, these are all just rough drafts from the weekend, so like we have a lot of things that we can do here. Yeah, and I am playing a deck that when I first saw it, I was sort of mad that I didn't think of it because the synergies are really sweet.
Okay.
And it's a play on a Death Shadow archetype. This one is Esper. And the key additions here are Ranger Captain Vios and Unearth.
Ooh, now I've seen Ranger of Eos go get 2 Death Shadows before. A lot of times they played 1 in the Traverse the Ulvenwald decks when they're flooding out. And then this, though, feels like it just hits on curve super well.
Yeah, so you get to play Ranger Captain, find more copies of Death Shadow. Your Unearth rebuys Death Shadow. Can also rebuy Ranger Captain, find Death Shadow, cast it. So for 2 mana, you end up with both of them.
Love it.
2 really good cards in the deck. We also have a copy of Kaya's Guile in the sideboard.
It's a 3 mana.
Yeah, that's like the charm
command for black-white.
Yeah. Command. And then a copy of the Orzhov Horizon Land.
Okay.
So works nicely. Another sort of painful land, but this one in a low land count deck that can sometimes flood. You appreciate that kind of effect.
I love Unearth as a card in general. I think that it has a lot of synergy. Being able to get a 3 mana creature as opposed to, I believe, what was the split card that gets back or gives
Claim to Fame?
Claim to Fame had some limitations in the number of creatures it could get back. Now we just get access to any 3-drop. Ranger Captain of Vios seems pretty great. But I think Death Shadow is kind of a natural fit for this type of a card, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see iterations of this deck that were 4 colors and maybe like went super hard on Snapcaster Mage, maybe even Dreadhorde Arcanist, things like that. Like, we had a Grixis mid-range deck a couple weeks ago or whatever when we were trying out Unearth. And the Unearth on Snapcaster Mage to get back something else was nuts. And then sometimes attacking with Arcanist, casting Unearth on something was nuts, So, there's a lot to like about the card Unearth. And in the scenario where your opponent has a Leyline of the Void, you just cycle it.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, It is one of my favorite cards. I think of the reprints that are in Modern Horizons, definitely one of my favorites. Hopefully a card I get to cast, although I think black is generally my least favorite color. So Unearth is a card that will get me to put some swamps in my deck.
Sure. All right, let's go ahead and get to the games. We're going to be filling some questions here, but we want to play some Magic for y'all.
Yeah, technical difficulties put us a little behind schedule, but we'll make that up.
Yeah. All right, my hand is dope. D-O-P.
Okay, this hand looks solid. Let's start with fetch. I'm going to go to 17, get a Watery Grave, and Thoughtseize.
Aw.
Go to 15.
So if he takes Archmage's Charm, I'm pretty sure I'm dead.
Well, you got a pretty gassy hand over there.
No, it's great. Yeah.
2 lands, 5 spells.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a... Maybe I screwed this up.
You need to get a different land?
Yeah, I need to get
Yeah, that's fine.
I need to get a Godless Shrine.
No worries.
So I'm not going to be able to apply a ton of pressure here. So I think the game is going to go reasonably long, which makes me want to take this Archmage's Charm, but I also kind of want to take the Logic, not based on how I know this game is going to progress.
I'm just going to peel a Delver and then everything's going to change.
It's definitely Logic, not or Charm.
Okay.
And
to be fair, if you have a good turn 2 play, I would take Logic Knot. If you don't, I would take the Charm.
I'm going to take the Logic Knot.
Okay.
So I'm at 15. Pass the turn.
Draw. We'll go ahead and play Serum Vision so we can hold Opt up next turn. And if we draw Logic Knot, we can hold that up as well. That was a good draw.
A little awkward here to Canal instead of Tarn into the Visions.
Well, if I just bottom them every time, it's fine.
Yeah.
Your turn. I'm trying to hold these up for Ross so he doesn't have to keep asking me what cards.
Let's play this on tap, go to 13.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
So we can't do a whole lot here as far as whatever. I'm just going to fetch an island and play a Young Pyromancer. If he has a removal spell, he has a removal spell, but then next turn I can just start holding up Archmage's Charm, maybe cast Opt and dig for some more threats.
I don't have a removal spell.
Toit. There you go.
That was probably the worst case scenario because I took the card. I now would have much rather had him cast this with the Logic Knot in hand than the Archmage's Charm. I think I need to find a removal spell, which means I'm going to cycle this Unearth, even though I really didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
My hand got a lot worse. Let's play Ranger Captain.
Yep.
I was hoping to Ranger Captain, have this get bolted, then Unearth it, have 2 Death Shadows in my hand, find another discard spell, deal with the Charm, and then have 2 Death Shadows. But
seems like a pretty solid line.
Yeah, it didn't really pan out that way. But I'm just finding a shadow. It's my only target. So
okay. Now, not really sure how to approach this turn because we can go Bolt, attack, Opt, or we can just hold up Charm to try to kill Death Shadow. Well, normally it would steal it, but in this scenario we're at a pretty high life total, so it would just kill it. I'm just gonna play aggressively because I think we're also gonna have trouble actually getting through the elemental tokens. Also, side note, I love playing with Young Pyromancer and Seasoned Pyromancer because I get to beat Ross with his own token. It's great. Hey, we'll keep that one. That's a good one. All right, let's bolt that, get another token. Attack for 2.
I'm at 11.
And play Delver.
Ugh.
Your turn.
Let's play a fetch and play 2 Death Shadows.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. You're at 11. You have how many cards?
I have 3.
Trigger Delver. Hey. It's coming up Millhouse. Draw this opt. Play land. Fetch to 18. Play not. Okay.
They're good.
Top card. Fairy Conclave. We've already played a land here, right? So put that on the bottom because we played the Tarn. Woohoo, baby. That's a good one. So before I attack, I think I try to Magmatic Sinkhole one of the Death Shadows because he can fetch to 8. If he goes below that, then Insect is just threatening like hard lethal. So let's delve 4. Target a Death Shadow. Then attack.
I go to 8.
Go. You about to sweep me? Just draw your 1 Zealous Persecution or something? So that would be bad for me.
Zealous Persecution would be a nice one.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
don't think it's in the deck.
I don't think it's in the deck either. I did a once over on Ross's list, but I always am in the back of my head. I always try to treat it like a unknown quantity for the most part. And here, Zealous Persecution would be quite good. So Lingering Souls will be pretty good.
Lingering Souls is what I drew.
Ooh.
And the only question here from my side is whether I want to deal myself 3 damage to cast the other half of it. And I don't think I do. I think if I go to 5 to get all 4, I have to double block here. I'll go to 2.
Yeah, I mean, if you double cast, I'm literally just going to kill this and then attack with just these.
Yeah. That's actually... So, yeah. Let's just... let's actually do it this way. Make 2 Jadeens.
Jadeen. My go?
Yep.
All right, and you have 1 card?
2.
Okay.
They're both great.
Sure. All right.
What's the opposite of great?
Bad.
Okay. They're that.
I'm going to play my land, and then I'm going to charm target this. And I'm going to steal it, but I'm at 2 high of a life total, so it's going to die. All right, then I'm going to fetch.
17.
Cast Serum. Now I think I can shove with everything no matter what. But we're going to resolve the Serum first. Draw a card. Top 2. Bottom both these. Let's just shove. So he's going to block here and here probably and take 6.
Yep.
Before damage, I'm going to play an opt. Keep that on top.
I go to 2.
Your turn. It's one of the reasons why I really like Archmage Charm. It just has so much versatility in what it can do. Because, like, in this particular matchup, it's nuts because it gives me a way to interact with one of his best cards against me.
Yeah, normally those 2 Death Shadows would stick on the battlefield in this matchup and might have given me a shot if I like that Lingering Souls then deals with the Delver,
right.
And then I have 2 really good blockers, but you had 2 removal spells for both my Death Shadows.
2 removal spells for Death Shadow and Izzet.
You do also have a Plains in your deck, correct?
Do I?
Could you have just fetched the 1 and cast another one?
Yeah,
I just assumed I didn't.
It would have changed the game a little bit. He would have blocked 2
Yeah.
more creatures. I actually wouldn't have attacked with Young Pyromancer in that spot, but I think he's still going to have trouble beating like 3 or 4 more Young Pyromancer tokens. And
Okay, good to know I have a Plains.
Yeah.
Okay, want to get to some sideboarding?
Sure. Yeah. All right. 2-minute break. Is that cool? All right. 2 minutes. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere.
And welcome back here for sideboarding of Esper Death Shadow against Isit Wizards. Is that what we're calling this?
Yep.
And
Izzy Wizzies.
Izzy Wizzy. Not a lot going on here on either side, really. Just bringing in a couple extra good removal spells here. I do like overloading on removal in matchups like this where they have a bunch of cantrips and they're a little light on total count of creatures, it can get awkward against cards like Young Pyromancer and Pia and Kieran when they leave some tokens around. But my creatures are so big that I don't think the tokens are going to end up doing a lot unless they Pyromancer sticks around for a long time, which makes me want to have more removal. Lingering Souls is going to be great in this matchup. Hard for Todd to interact with it effectively. Lets us match up with Pia and Kieran and with Delver of Secrets pretty well, and is just all around great. We're trimming a Stubborn Denial. There's not a lot of cards that we need to counter in this matchup. Todd's pretty low to the ground too, so we're not getting value until we have a big creature.
Well, it's also not getting value until you're hitting a 3 or a 4 drop, and I'm usually like really hesitant to cast those into stubs. I think that you're going to get some amount of value out of it in this matchup by just not having a big creature and just spending 1 mana to counter an Archmage's Charm. So personally, I disagree with siding it out. I'm actually a little afraid of it. Personally,
I'm leaving 2 in.
Sure.
I have 3 in the main.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I'm trimming on it. I don't want a ton, but Archmage's Charm does change the calculus on this card. I think if Charm didn't exist in Todd's deck, then Stubborn Denial would be significantly worse, and I would consider bringing all of them out. But because of Charm, I'm leaving a couple in because that card is so powerful. And then I'm cutting my 1 threat that matches up worst against red removal against Lightning Bolt. So we're cutting these Jaces. We still have our bigger creatures and our snaps, and making some slight improvements, but nothing huge.
Yeah, my side, Vendilion Clique matches up rather poorly against the card Lingering Souls. Even though I can sometimes steal one out of his hand, he's going to be casting those in this matchup on turn 3 like pretty regularly, and then the body on Vendilion Clique just no longer matters. The red removal is also not super good in this matchup. Your traditional bolts and burst lightnings don't really knock off too much, except for like Snapcaster, sometimes JCP. But when it starts to get down to the nitty gritty, like Death Shadow and Gurmag Angler, they just aren't up to snuff. So we got to get them out in some number. We want to keep like 2 or 3 bolts in for the most part, so that we can sometimes go like bolt, snap, bolt whenever Ross gets a little too greedy with dealing himself damage for his Death Shadows. And that's one of the reasons why we're bringing in Grim Lavamancer. So Lavamancer makes it so that he can basically never know where he's safe at with his life total, because his threaten's up to 4 by itself. I can be holding on to some bolts or Snapcaster Mages early on, and then we just do a lot of burst damage.
The numbers there actually work really nicely, because normally you want to get to 9 life. You want to have your Death Shadows at 4/4, because then they survive Lightning Bolt, and your Stubborn Denials are completely online. But at 10, you can get 4 damage with Grim Lavamancer if it's active on a end step, untap again, and then bolt, snap, bolt for another 6. So pretty easy to threaten 10, which makes me wary of going down below that. So.
All right, and then we're going to be bringing Pia and Kieran. Token generators are pretty tough for Death Shadow decks in general. That's why like the Lingering Souls were so good in those Death Shadow mirrors long ago. And then we're bringing in 1 Dispel because I think we're going to have a couple instant speed fights. Plus, this is a great way to help protect Young Pyromancer, which is one of the better cards in the matchup.
Yeah. I've liked having 1 Dispel from the Phoenix side in this matchup, though I think it's a little better there because you really want to protect your thing in the ice.
Yes, it's similar concept.
But yeah, Young Pyromancer is indeed similar.
All right, hit me with your best shots.
Yep. So as far as your removal spell, your Magmatic, I can't remember the name of it.
I can't either, honestly. Magmatic Sinkhole.
Thank you.
Magmatic Insight is the
How would you
land.
compare that to Harvest Pyre?
Just cost 1 versus 2. That's the difference. I mean, Harvest Fire, I think, was played as a one-of in some lists in modern and variations like this. And honestly, the difference is that it costs 1 sometimes, and that is huge.
Yeah. There's the occasional time where you kill a 6 toughness creature, but I don't think that comes up as often as needing it to cost 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a difference between Doomblade and Murderous Cut. I would never play Doomblade in Modern, but like Murderous Cut I could see play because at some points it's just 1 mana to kill a thing. And that's very good.
Honestly, Murderous Cut probably would see play if Gurmag Angler and Tassiger weren't cards.
No, for sure. I mean, we saw Set Adrift start seeing play in the Phoenix decks because there's no longer Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, There's every Delve spell that has some decent effect on the battlefield or draws cards or whatever. Delve spells are just messed up. They're just cheap and good.
And then what about Dreadhorde Arcanist in your Wizards deck? Are you too reactive with your counter spells?
Yeah, a little too reactive. It's possible that there's a good Grixis deck with it, with Unearth and stuff, but you very much need to be proactive with your Dreadhordes. Counter spells in general are pretty weak with it.
Okay, game 2. I'm on the play, and Man,
Well, a good one or bad one?
I just can't. I can't do anything.
What, 2 shadow, no fetches?
Yeah, two shadow, 2 basics.
That looks like a mulligan to me.
And they're the black-white basics, so I
And you
can't
have
snap my
Sirens?
Thought Scour
Yeah,
on
yeah,
3.
yeah. That's
Like, I
good.
just can't keep this hand.
All right, I'm going to keep mine. Let's take a couple more questions while we're also shuffling up.
What do we got over there, Rob? Nothing?
He's looking.
Looking through a few.
Look, he's got backlog over there because he's trying to set up. Life told us make sure they're right. You know, he's trying to make sure that the goblins don't snip the wires again. You know, we already had to go get the gaff tape and fix that. But
You know, we had technical difficulties, and then Cedric just sort of conveniently showed up.
Yeah.
You know how he likes goblins.
yeah,
Got to get up pretty early.
to make up theories like that. Is
Yeah.
that the end of that sentence?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time and effort.
What about Giver of Runes in your Esper Shadow? Is that a little too cute?
Who?
Giver of Runes.
Giver of Runes.
The new mom.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be doing something like that. You've got enough to do on turn 1. Giver of Runes really, it gets its value in fairly creature-heavy decks where you have really good 2-drops that you want to protect.
Yes.
Death Shadow and Gurmag Angler are in part good because they're pretty difficult to remove,
Well,
especially when you have discard spells.
I was gonna say the discard spells are your
Yeah.
giver of runes, right? Like you strip the removal, you slow the game down, and then you beat them to death with a 5/5. You know.
Yeah, and then like their lightning bolts don't touch it, so you take their lightning axe or their magmatic sinkhole, and then go from there. So yeah, I want to be playing Giver of Runes in decks with more fragile creatures that are really impactful when they survive. Things like Spell Queller, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, Devoted Druid.
Also, Todd, real quick, why do you think there's no fiery islets or islets in that deck?
I consider playing 5 islands is a lot, but I think like Fairy Conclave is pretty good. You also never really want to sack your lands in this deck because you have Cryptic Command, Archmage Charm, and Snapcaster Mage. If I was playing a super low to the ground version of Delver and only wanted to play like 19 lands or whatever and a lot more burn spells and fewer of these card draw effects, I would definitely play Fire Islet so that you don't flood out. But in this particular one, we're going a little bit higher than normal with our Archmage Charms and our Cryptics.
Okay.
All right.
I've got a Scry after I'm keeping this, and yeah, we're going to leave that one on top, and I'm going to play a Flooded Strand and pass.
Delver, 17. Sup? Kill it? Ooh, no kill it. He wants to keep that top card. That's good news.
Okay. On your end sub, I'm going to cycle this, go to 18. Then I'm going to fetch for a Hallowed Fountain and Thought Scour myself.
Sure. Was Thought Scour on top?
No, a card I wanted was on top.
Oh, so 17, 15. I'm 17, you're 15.
Yep.
Okay. Sure you want to get Hallowed Fountain in your Death Shadow deck.
Need double white for a Ranger Captain.
I know. I'm just saying. I just don't want you to regret it, you know. I like you, Ross. I don't want you to feel bad. Except when I beat you.
So you're at 17 and I'm at 15?
That is correct. You mill 2 and draw a card.
That's how Thought Scour works.
Yep. Thought Scour plus Unearth is a noise.
Unearth is nice in this deck.
Yeah, Unearth. I like that card a lot. I just wish you could unearth the Street Wraith. That'd be tight.
Let's go to 13 and push the Delver.
Yeah.
Pass
No. Push it good. Push it real good. Crap. Fine.
Love getting my Lingering Souls countered.
Yeah. I don't like countering it, but I don't really have much else to do. Gonna be at 16.
Yep.
Go. You're still at 13, or did you take any more than
I'm at
this?
13.
Okay.
Played a basic.
Okay.
Yeah, let's flashback Lingering Souls.
Sure.
Get some JDs, pass the turn.
Bolt you.
I'm at 10.
I'm going to fetch down to 15.
That is scary.
Well, I have not to give up the ghost, but I have a Snapcaster in my hand and nothing really to target with it. And if I don't draw a land this turn, I really want to be able to Snap Bolt. I could target a token, but there's a chance that if he just doesn't have Shadow in hand, that I might actually just burn him out and not really care about his life total being low. Opt.
Sure.
Go. Now I can bolt or opt, which is nice. Pretty sure. I mean, he had the fetch land too, so he doesn't have Death Shadow in hand, or else he would have just played one last turn, I believe. Unless he was just trying to make sure it was 4/4. What the hell is that?
Oh, you didn't know that was in my deck?
I didn't know that was in your deck.
2 of them.
How the hell am I supposed to beat that? Oh my god. Alright, let's go fetch an island, cast Snapcaster Mage, leave open Steam Vents. Does that resolve?
Yes.
Okay. Snapcaster Mage will... Let's see, that puts me to 14, right?
Yep.
I will target Opt and cast Opt.
Yep.
I will keep this. Teferi resolves. You know,
you figure this out while I do other things.
You don't know how to open a thing?
I couldn't see where the top was.
Okay.
I'm gonna fetch to 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna get basic swamp.
Are you casting a 4/4 Shadow?
Yep.
Tilt. Are you bouncing Snapcaster Rage?
I'm definitely not doing that. We're definitely plussing the Teferi.
Okay.
And now the question is if I attack with 1 Jadine or 2. And I think I attack with both, because that way, if Todd has Archmage's Charm, he has to cast it on his turn. He'll be at 12, so the shadow will live, and then I'll get to bounce it with Teferi.
Yeah.
So, because Todd can attack this for 2, so he would have to have it Charm plus a Bolt.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then we're in rough shape. Okay.
Fortunately, I have to fetch Shock to do this. Which, wait, do I only have 2 Steam Vents in my deck? I'm going to throw up if I only have 2 Steam Vents in my
Probably
deck.
have a mountain.
I have a third. I don't.
Oh.
Specifically.
Oh, because of Charm?
Yeah. Nick Miller's Thopters.
So you're going to 9 as well?
That's what I got.
9 all.
You're up.
Whew, this is a game.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff. I think I can afford to just cast this for now, so let's Thought Scour myself.
Okay.
Okay, good. Didn't want those anyway.
Okay. This means he has a spot removable spell. If I triple block or whatever, I'm just going to take it. If he wants to cycle a Street Wraith or something, if he has it, that's fine. I'll take the 6, but right now it's only 4. So
yeah, I'm going to cycle, go to 7, draw. So you take 6, go to 3.
Yep. Bounce Lava Man.
You
You don't bounce Lava Man, you might die.
yeah.
You still might die, but you might just die to Lava Man. Oh, no.
Path the Pia and Kieran.
Okay.
Do that now so we can't get fancy with those Nick Millers.
Yep.
He's got plenty of mana, so this is awkward now because I've got Todd at 3, and Charm is going to be real good with these shadows. But I don't know what else I could do about that.
All right, there I go.
Yeah.
I don't have Charm. Lucky you. Oh.
The nice thing is Todd can't get fancy at all because of this Teferi.
Yeah, just got to kind of operate it. Let's see. I'm going to Snap Bolt the Teferi.
Okay. Well, So much for not getting fancy.
And I will say go. So.
Snapcaster Mage.
Spell Snare.
Is really good.
Yeah.
So both Death Shadows have to get chump blocked.
It's true.
Which means I think I want to get in.
If you get in with the tokens, I can just chump with these, and you might die on the following swing if you have nothing to follow up.
Yeah.
So I'm not if it affects anything hand-wise, but just so you know. I would definitely attack with these, but you might want to hold these back just to block these.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's get in with these. And let's pass the turn.
Go. On your upkeep. Steal a Death Shadow.
Path the one you try to steal.
Sure.
Find my planes. Not ideal, but I had to hold that in case of a charm. Now we're in rough shape against this Grimmalovmancer. I guess we're just going to have to probably die to a bolt.
Don't have a bolt. I'll figure out what all I can draw. Your Shadow's still 6, right?
It's 6/6.
Okay. Charm was a great draw.
Attack.
Jump here. You can finish your sentence. I'm just gonna shoot this.
I think Todd had some plan of maybe, double blocking and finishing off. So I play the Marsh Flats just so I can fetch and stop that from happening. So you're going to go to 2. Pass the turn.
Garden hand.
Yep.
Attack.
5.
Go. Upkeep. Snapcaster.
That's gross. Yep.
Steal your Death Shadow. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot this down. I don't know what all's potentially in his deck, but I want to make sure that that's gone so I'm not at 1.
And I'm dead. I have a shadow, but the 2 snaps and the Logmancer finished me off. Drew a Thoughtseize that was not good. Charm is
what's good in this matchup.
Messed up.
So I don't. We were testing it specifically because we thought it would be good in this matchup. The way we pair decks is we want some diverse interactions between the cards, and you saw there were a couple spots where Archmage's Charm could have potentially drawn me some cards if Ross didn't do anything, but it's also just one of your easiest ways to interact with the card Death Shadow, which is just so nice.
I think on the turn I pathed the
Shadow?
No, the 2/2. On the turn I pathed the P and Kieran.
Oh, sure.
I think it actually was the turn after. When I got in both, I should have gotten in with both shadows and the 2 tokens.
Okay.
And if you double block, if you chump with the tokens and go to 1, and then hope to maybe kill me on the crackback, I have the other path in my hand. I should just path your Lavamancer immediately, and then hope you don't draw Bolt. But if you draw Charm, you have to charm one of my tokens.
Sure.
And then
Well, that turn you passed the Pia, right?
yeah, I had 2 paths.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it was path Pia, get in with 1 shadow, leave back, and then next turn attack with both, and you were able to. No, because then you killed one. I can't remember the order things happened, but I think I should have been more aggressive there.
Sure. You want to play one more funsies?
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for us, Robbo?
Yeah. How do you compare Flusterstorm and Dispel as far as sideboarding?
That's actually a great question. Probably should be a Flusterstorm. If I'm being honest. The Dispel only counters instants. The fact the Flusterstorm can hit sorcery is pretty good.
But what sorceries are you trying to hit? Like
what instance are you trying to hit with Dispel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saying, like if you're dispelling your opponent, more often than not, Flusterstorm's going to do roughly the same thing, pretty often.
I'm not sure that's true. I think games go
I guess
long
actually
enough.
in
1
that
mana removal
spot,
spells.
Yeah.
I don't think Flusterstorm is particularly good in Modern.
I mean that's certainly fair. Okay, fair enough. Anything else?
Ross, when are you going to start streaming?
Soon.
Actual soon? Or do you always just say soon and I forgot? That you always say soon?
I've been saying soon for a while, but I've got a couple weeks off, so that's one of the things that's...
Just figure it out. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come over to your house, but I'll talk to you on Discord. We'll figure it out. 5, 6, 7. All right. Can I go first this game just because I haven't gone first yet all day?
Nope.
Okay.
Go to 18.
Okay.
Go to 16 and Inquisition you.
I can't hit this one.
I will take the Charm. I do not have a 2-mana spell in my hand.
Yeah.
Don't have very many in my deck.
We'll just go with Fairy Conclave. Your turn. Because there's no real... The only 2-mana spell I'd be afraid of is like JCP. Maybe I should hold up for it too, but... I'm going to go ahead and play this. Hope he doesn't kill it.
I'm going to go ahead and kill it.
So, alright, he's dead. I didn't think it would survive long, and I didn't have anything to pair with it anyway, so I really wanted to be able to maybe untap with it and cast Fetch Sinkhole on a 3-drop. Or Death Shadow if he cast it.
I am going to go to 10, because I'm not under much pressure.
Had you 18?
16.
16?
I cycled the Street Wraith.
Okay, so you're going to 10.
And play Ranger Captain and get a Shadow.
I love that. That like kind of bridge play right there.
Yeah.
It just feels so good. Makes you wonder if there's like a 4-color version of this deck. Because I'm not a huge fan of the blue, but I wouldn't mind like a Traverse package in this styles deck, something like that.
Yeah, play Baubles.
Unearth seems alright with Goy.
Yeah, Unearthed Tarmogoyf is not bad.
I mean, you could just go full on like Traverse and that Delirium and play Grim Flare.
Yeah.
Because that'll help fill your graveyard. Good with Lingering Souls. Good with Unearth.
Love it. A lot of cool new graveyard stuff in general with this deck or with this set. So I'm at 17 for my first fetch shot.
Okay.
So I did want to cast that Pyromancer on 2. So
okay, I will attack for a 3.
14.
I will play.
I'm going to play this instead. Sorry.
I will play Death Shadow.
Sure.
Let's do that. I will pass the turn.
Crack fetch.
That's fine.
Okay. You could technically crack the Ranger to make me not be able to Sinkhole this turn, but I'm going to go ahead and EOT Sinkhole. Targeting Shadow.
That is fine.
Okay.
And then I will Path the Delver.
Okay. So now I think I'm going to start getting in with Fairy Conclave. Cut.
Yep.
Start with an Opt. See what's up. Keep it. Serum Vision. See what's up. Card could be really good, so we're going to keep it on top. And go.
End step. You kept both on top?
Yes.
Scour you.
Okay.
attack for 3.
11 or
10. 10 all.
Yep.
Lingering Souls.
You
Fast turn.
dead.
Yeah, Lingering Souls real good against Fairy Conclave.
Yeah. Also really good against 8 lands or 7.
Yeah.
Yes, 8.
Don't worry, I got another one.
Yeah. You win.
It's a lot of JDs.
You win.
Okay.
GG's. All right, so Death Shadow Esper looked quite cool.
It's a little clunkier than the Grixis list because you got these extra 3s.
Yep.
So I think it needs a little bit of work just to streamline it a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe I needed more, stubs for this matchup. Maybe I should have had more in my deck post board, but like they're basically only good against the one card.
Yeah,
it's a
but
really
that
important card.
one card is very important, and I do have the capability to dig for it with Serum and Opt. And
Yep, and you have
things
snaps
like that.
for it.
Yep.
If I take it with a discard spell, so but yeah, that could have been a mistake as well. It definitely, it shores up one of the major weaknesses in this matchup.
Mhm.
Death Shadow is the key threat. It's so big, it's hard to race, hard to answer with the red removal, and now you have a very clean answer to it. And sometimes if we're in the race, you saw Todd taking game 2,
Taking
and it was just a 10-10
awesome, yeah.
on his side. So, if you take it when it's just a 2-2 or 4-4, suddenly you start fetch shocking. You even got extra shock lands in your deck. You're all already prepared. So
Yeah.
And then you have Magmatic Sinkhole cleanly answers Gourmet Angler, which is something that Charm misses. So 2 really good additions to your deck for this matchup. I have the Ranger Captain and Lingering Souls. The white cards look good from my side as well. So a lot of good things going on. I definitely loved seeing Ranger Captain find Death Shadow. We didn't really get to see on Earth. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is a little bit. And I killed Ranger Captain quite a bit. There was like a awkward spot in game 1 where you end up having to cycle it, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, just need a removal spell for Pyromancer.
Right, because Young Pyromancer does put that pressure on your opponent so fast, and they need an answer or bust. So yeah, 100% think that Unearth is good in the deck. We just didn't get to see it really, go off.
Yes. So I think from what I've seen Unearth do in other decks, it looks really cool. I've seen somebody use it in Goblins with Matron and Prospector. Yeah. Kind of upset I didn't see that too when I built the Goblin deck, but that seems sweet. I think we're going to see a fair bit of Unearth show up in the in Modern. Maybe we're going to have the Hogak deck just sort of dominate things for a little bit.
And we'll see. I mean, the problem is I don't think that many decks in game 1 can really compete with it on a fair level. So you're just going to see a bunch of like really polarizing decks start to creep up to fight it. And I don't even know the deck was operating insanely well in the 3 games we played, even in the face of Graveyard Hate. Obviously, the Graveyard Hate was one shot. It wasn't like the Ley Lines and the Rest in Pieces that we're likely to start seeing here in the near future. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, that you just need Graveyard Hate to be Grafdigger's Cage, Rest in Peace, Yixlid Jailer, Ley Line of the Void, these things that just completely negate the entire graveyard, not just one specific thing like Surgical Extraction.
Yeah. But, if that happens, we'll have an Eldrazi Winter kind of effect, and eventually Modern will get corrected. And
either get corrected one way or another.
Yeah,
that's for
so
sure.
we're going to see. I think long term, Unearth is definitely a very good card in Modern, and not one that is overpowered, but like perfectly situated for the format. So I'm excited to see what it does.
Yeah, same.
Definitely good in this deck. The deck looks solid. Charm is a really powerful card.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it basically at its finest in this matchup because I think the strongest mode is Steel Death Shadow.
Yeah, it's definitely the one with the highest upside.
Right, and but every other mode is still quite valuable in a lot of scenarios. Like when you're holding up Snapcaster Opt on turn 3, the ability to just turn this into a counter spell, your draw spell / removal spell, into a counter spell. Just that versatility just is exactly what these decks that operate at instant speed really want. And it's a card that I think should eventually see some legacy play. Like, I think it's that good because stealing Delver Secrets is huge. Making sure that your opponent's Death Shadows don't get out of hand in your Izzet Delver deck or whatever. I just think that it's a fine card. You can play in a number of 3 and 4 color blue decks because all their lands tap for blue. So I really like it there. And the fact that there's just not a lot of raw card advantage, means a lot to me. And then I don't know how often you've hard cast a Force Will in Legacy.
A fair number of times, yeah.
A lot. People are like, 3 for a counterspell is too much.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, that's the thing. 3 mana for an instant speed draw 2 wouldn't see any play. 3 mana for a counterspell wouldn't see any play.
Yeah.
3 mana steal a 1 mana permanent wouldn't see any play. But the reason that those cards are bad is because there's a ton of situations where they're not effective.
Right.
But the situations where they're not effective, the other modes will be. So when you staple them all together, you get a card that is effective in all these situations, and you get that effect that you want. You need that counterspell effect sometimes. You need the draw effect sometimes. So you always have it when you need it, and you always have what you need.
I'll say this. It's probably worse than Narset Parter of Veils in most decks in Legacy, but I am fairly confident that card will not be legal for very long. That card is. That card and Karn,
the Great
Creator, just kind of ruin older formats, in my opinion. I mean, I think that Karn is going to get restricted in Vintage. It's just...
it's probably way too busted.
It's stupid. And then and Legacy, I just cannot imagine Narset is a reasonable card. Like, Leovold that you can't kill with a removal spell and then also cast Dig Through Time. You kidding? Are you serious? Anywho, that's match 2. We got one more match coming up. What's it looking like?
This is going to be a fun one. We got a Gruul Blitz aggro deck.
Maybe we do a best of 5.
Yeah, you're going to want to check out the deck list that comes up on the screen and read it real closely for Todd's deck.
Yeah. And
then I am playing a deck we have called Urza's Outcome. That should tell you the 2 cards that we're putting together.
So we got Urza Sunglasses and what's the 4 mana green card that flips the top card over? What's that one called? It's
what is it?
Unexpected Outcome, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a card.
There's Unexpected Results is the one I'm thinking of actually. So
it's not in my deck.
I'm off. Paradoxical Outcome, of course.
And so the Lord Hari Artificer.
Yeah, so artifact base. We're gonna get more to it when we show you the deck list on the screen, and we'll get back to it in the next match. But don't go anywhere. Fiver.
Yeah, 10? We can do that. Also, I just wanted to... I did bring up the cards. Unexpected Results.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got that.
Cool. All right, well, thanks for that for Rob. We're going to take just a short break here. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back for more Versus Live.